Hey parents, this is Pastor Alex, and in this video, we are going to cover everything that you need to know for summer camp. So get ready, here we go. First off, when is summer camp? Well, we are booked and all ready to go to Jenness Park Christian Camps, July 19th through 24th. So we will be leaving Monday at approximately 11 a.m. from Bear Creek Church campus, and we will be heading about 2 hours east past Sonora to Cold Springs, California, to our host campground, Jenness Park Christian Camps. We are partnering up with a camp director, and they have covered everything as far as program, meals, events, Bible teaching, etc. And that is the FUGE Camp Ministries. So FUGE is running their camp at Jenness Park Christian Campgrounds, and we just get to plug into that already existing format and enjoy. Now, I really like this because it's going to allow our leaders a lot of opportunity to really bond with the students, not only in terms of the fun activities that they will offer, but also in the spiritual development that's going to be taking place. So we won't be bogged down with a lot of the administrative details. That's already taken care of. Instead, we get to really sow into these students relationally and spiritually. So I'm very, very excited to be partnering with this camp. How do you register for camp? Well, I'm going to be posting a link in the description below where you can log onto the church website and you can register your student for camp. We are doing registrations online this year through Realm, and so that link will be in the description below. To register your student, you do need to put down a $100 deposit, okay? So that is all that's required to secure your spot, and registration is limited. We have 24 spots available, and so I would encourage you to get your student registered as soon as possible to make sure that their spot is secured for summer camp. What forms, what paperwork will you need to fill out to prepare your student for camp to make sure that they're eligible to go? Well, come with me. I'm going to show you guys some online paperwork that will also be available to you and that we will need from you in order for your student to participate in camp. All right, so I'm going to be sharing my screen with you guys here in just a second so you guys can check out these required forms that we will need from you for your student to participate in camp. So first, let me show you the FUGE Camps Health Questionnaire. This form is for the FUGE camp only, okay? And so we will need this form filled out before your student leaves for camp the morning of, okay? So it'll say, give this form to your group leader before leaving for camp. And essentially, this is just a health checklist that you would take within 24 hours prior to leaving camp. And it basically goes down any symptoms that you might have that would possibly indicate a COVID diagnosis. And so you would just need to go over this to make sure that your student is healthy and ready to go to camp. So we will need that 24 hours prior to camp. You will want to bring that the day of camp. Now, here is the FUGE Participant Form. This is a 2-page document, and this will need to be filled out as well by a parent, and it also requires a notarization, okay? So be aware that you will need to get this notarized, and this is for your student to participate in the FUGE camp. All right, so in addition to those FUGE camp paperwork that we will need from you, there is also campground specific paperwork that Jenness Park is going to need as well. And so let me show you guys the health screening form for Jenness Park Christian Camp. Again, this is just any illness in the last 24 hours, if you have any diseases, any injuries that anyone would need to be aware of. This would need to be filled out again within this form 48 hours prior to our arrival at camp. So that is the health screening form. Bring that Monday, July 19th. In addition, Jenness Park will require a medical release and liability form. And so that is here. Now this one does not need a notarization, but it still needs to be filled out. And again, a lot of this is going to sound like, why am I filling out the same form multiple times? That's because some of these forms are for FUGE, some of these forms are for Jenness Park, and then Bear Creek will also need a few forms as well. So there we go on some of the health and medical liability forms. Let's check out some more info here. So in this document called the Parent Pack, this is a 9-page document, and it goes over what your child will be doing this week. And so look at this, we're doing graded Bible studies with students from other churches. That is exciting. We'll also have time for recreation, afternoon track times where they pick their area of recreation and discipleship. Really pumped about that. We'll have worship, church group time where there's teaching, and then just camp-wide fellowship. So very excited about our camp schedule. Now here on the sample camp schedule, this is an example of what our day-to-day will actually look like. And so you can familiarize yourself with what we will be doing in camp. There's also a dress code for camp, so make sure you go over that. Certain things like sleeveless shirts, tank tops are allowed. However, shirts with spaghetti straps, open backs, excessive armpit cutouts, we know what that looks like, are not allowed. So, you know, it's just expressing that modesty is important, modest shorts and pants, etc. You don't want your students to get kicked out of camp for the way they dress. That would not be good. Very good here. So, in addition, a packing list, what to pack and what not to pack. Notice we are going to be very much disconnected and possibly even out of cell range. So leave the iPods, the gaming devices at home. We're not going to be bringing stuff that could be used for pranks, etc. So make sure you familiarize yourself with this for the packing list as well as the what not to pack list. Here are some camp rules that you would want to go over with your student. In addition, really excited that they prepare us with the Bible study overview that we will be diving into for our time at camp. And so really you can see here that our main scripture is going to come from Psalm 46. That is the psalm that we are going to be diving into. You'll see here an area for parent devotions. And so allow me to turn your attention to the parent devotions. Really excited that this camp resources parents with devotions that you guys can be studying as well while your student is at camp, and then an opportunity for you guys to unpack that as a family when your student returns from camp. And so this devotional is a 21-page packet, but it really resources you as the parents to pray and to equip your student as they are going through these devotionals at camp. So we will resource you with those as well. If you are requiring financial assistance for one or more of your students to attend camp this year, I am happy to let you know that we have sponsorship money available. And so your student may receive a partial or a full scholarship to go to camp. And what we will need from you is for your student to fill out a sponsorship form. And this form is just a few questions long. And basically it gives us an indication of their commitment to church, to their motivation for why they want to go to camp, as well as how committed they are to raising their funds and possibly paying, a partial scholarship. And so if you are requiring financial assistance, don't hesitate to have your student fill out this form, because we have funds available to help students get to camp. I will also be resourcing you with the track time guidelines for when we are at camp for your student to pick what areas they want to specialize in. And so they will get to register for these upon arrival at camp on Monday, July 19th. But this way you can be prepared and kind of look over those areas that you would be more inclined to sign up for, the areas you want to grow in, or the recreational areas that you want to participate in. Does your student need to bring extra money? Well, I would definitely advise that you send your student with a bit of cash or a debit card, credit card, if that's your choice. Because there may be opportunities where we will make stops either along the way up or on the way back to campus. And should we stop for gas and they want to grab a snack, they can do that. Now, all of the food will be covered for our time at camp, and so they won't need to pay for food. And we will not be leaving the campsite unless it's for camp designated activities. So we will not be making trips to fast food or anything like that. Any food purchases or any things that they might want to pick up maybe at a gift shop or something like that, they will need to pay for out of their own money, and the $300 registration cost is not included in any of those additional purchases that your student may want to make. And so I would recommend sending your kid with maybe $20, maybe $50 accessible to them, that should they desire to buy some merchandise or just some food or drinks at a gas station, that they have that money available to them should they choose to do that. As far as transportation goes, we will be taking 2 church vans operated by licensed and registered drivers, part of our youth leadership team, and we'll be taking those 2 church vans up on that Monday. And we will also have personal vehicles for some of our other youth leaders that are driving. Those personal vehicles will be used to shuttle our students up to camp. I briefly want to touch on the fact that we have 6 leaders that will be accompanying our students to camp. And right now, 4 of those leaders are committed. A 5th is a tentative commitment, and we are still looking for a 6th leader who would want to join us for camp. And based on the breakdown of who's already committed, we are hoping that that 6th leader would be a female leader. So if you or someone you know wants to join us for camp, your cost will be covered, and you would just be responsible for leadership and oversight over a small group of students. So let me know if you or someone you know is willing to join us as a camp leader this year. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me at alexe@bearcreekchurch.com if you have any additional questions, or you can call the church office at 209-369-2202. Definitely really excited for what God is going to do in our time at camp, and I hope this video resources you and helps you feel confident in sending your student to camp. And lastly, would you join me over the course of the next few weeks in praying for the safety of our trip, as well as what God is going to do during our time at camp? That would really mean a lot as you partner with us and just set the covering and the atmosphere for what God is going to do in the hearts of our young students at camp.